Hello and welcome to the Lewis Nichols Show. I'm really excited today because I'm actually bringing on someone that's a friend who I know really well, but weirdly doing an interview with. I don't know if you think it's kind of weird, but I'm really glad to get you on because such a talented, artist. And I don't like to say, people use like unsigned, undiscovered artist. I don't think that actually applies to you because I think you are discovered and you're doing incredibly well. So thank you for joining me. It's Keanan. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Hi guys. Hi everybody.
Love your bumblebee top as well. We're looking sick.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
It's weird because obviously, I know you reasonably well, and I have done for a few months now. And obviously, I know a lot about your music and some of your background, but obviously the audience doesn't. So going back to kind of the beginning in when you were growing up, where did that love and passion for music come from? I mean, did you come from like a musical family, for instance?
No, not at all. I don't have much memory of it, but my memory is like, I was like 2, 3 years old. I used to like make my own rhymes of what I could speak. Used to rhyme my surname. Then like mum used to buy me CDs and and I used to rehearse those raps over and over again. Then gradually started writing my own. But it was a bit rubbish at first. They're better now, but they was rubbish at first. But that's how I remember it. To me, yeah.
And like, from knowing you as well, one thing that I always used to love talking to you about was actually your kind of relationship and love for your family, because you are a real family man. It's a lot of kind of what drives you. And, sometimes in your music, you put a lot of your experiences with your family in there. So when you think back to your family, are they kind of a massive influence for your music in the sense of writing material?
No, I think they're a consideration, but mainly my content's very based on like relatable experiences, like relationships, heartbreak, or like, anything like that everyone's gone through. That's what I write about mainly. Family is like, family I just think about if they would like it. I imagine like it playing at like a family event or something like that and everyone catching a vibe. That's like the family perspective of it when I think about music. I think like how many different ages and ranges can like it and they can all like vibe with the same thing. That's why I try and think about it.
When you think back to like your previous music, like your EPs, is it Butterfly was one of your earliest?
Yeah.
What was that about, like in regards to kind of the inspiration behind that?
So that's about when I wrote that. Well, it was half written and then I lost my mum halfway through. So then like the vibe is like kind of half like a breakup of a relationship, half of like losing my mum, and I kind of like merged it all into one like butterfly metaphor, getting over something and like letting go. And do you know what I mean? It's more like a combination of like quite a lot of different things happening all at once, really. That makes sense.
Yeah, but in regards to, because I mean, I can imagine what it's like, and I'm sure a lot of people who have been through what you've been through can relate. But when it comes to losing someone like your mum, for instance, does that change you as an artist in any way, or does it take you in a different direction? Because I guess emotion-wise, you would have gone through so much at that time. Does that make you more emotional when it comes to writing and releasing music, or does it have the opposite effect?
I think to be fair, I think before it happened, I was very timid with it. I think I thought too much about how it would affect other people, and I thought too much in my own head, really. Then obviously after it happened, I became very like, like I enjoy it, I'm just gonna do whatever. And I think that album really helped me explore loads of different things and just not care as much. And I think now when you hear my music now compared to before, it's just a lot more open. I think you don't really think as much about it, which is good.
And I can vouch for that. Obviously, listening to your music and seeing your posts on social media, and you as a person, you're very open. You're someone that kind of, you are what you are, and it's great to see. Would you think your mum would look at you now and be like, "Wow, I love what he's doing," because you're literally just being yourself. You're not defined by anything. You're an incredible rapper. and you're very open with your sexuality as well. And you put the two together. You're not defined by, oh, I shouldn't be this and that genre. You're literally yourself. And you know, she would have been proud, surely.
I think so. I think obviously with my new song, it's a very personal topic. I'm talking about like very specific details of what happened, and I would have done that before. I'm quite a private person, but now like with music, I wouldn't speak to somebody about my issues, but I'd put it all in a song. It's much easier for me. I can just say like, oh, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, okay, listen to this. Rather than me speak about it, I think it's much easier for me just to put it all in one. And I think she'd be proud that I'm doing that, because before I'm quite like put up a big front, you know, I can act behind something else, and I haven't got to speak about myself like deeply as much.
And I guess with writing experiences, when it comes to writing a track, it sounds from what you just said, it's almost like kind of a release, you know, like a counseling session, that actually maybe you're feeling a certain way, but when it comes to putting pen to paper, that's your way of kind of going through those feelings, those emotions, and then putting it out there for other people to kind of connect to.
Yeah, it's very much what I used to do. I used to always write a song and then rewrite it backwards to make it as generic as possible without any of me in it. So I could write a song like about a situation, but it won't be about me. But now I kind of just put all my details into it as much as I can, because people like to hear it. But before, I was like, if I speak too much about myself, people think I'm a mess, like an emotional wreck. I've got a lot going on. Like, they just think I'm a mess. So, but now I'm different. Now I just talk about it all. I get it all in there.
And the great thing is as well, you know, and I've said it before, and I think it's what defines a singer or a rapper to an artist, is the fact that you have so much control creatively in what you do, from the writing of the music, the recording, the promotion, the videos. You know, you're not someone that just takes a back seat and let other people. I mean, if someone's there kind of storyboarding a video shoot, you're at the heart of that. You know, you love to have full control. Does that make it kind of even more personal to you, in the sense that when you release a track, you've done everything, you know, in regards to the release?
I think obviously as an art, I think it's very important as an artist to control everything. If you've written a song, you need to control how people listen to it, how they see it, what you want them to think, how you want them to feel. You need to control everything. And even like a video, like the slightest bit of sound in a song, like it controls every single mood and how people feel. So I think if you don't have control over it, like communication gets lost, and like it's not as authentic as I want it to be. So I think it's important to control everything. I'm a control freak anyway with it. So any little thing I want it as perfect as I can. And then when I put it out, I can look at it and say, like, I've done all of that. And like, if people didn't like it, then fair enough. But I know that was my all I put into that at that time.
Yeah, and at the moment you're, you know, an unsigned artist. If it came to you know, you signing with a label, but they said we have 85% creative control, from knowing you, I couldn't imagine that's something that would work for you, because I couldn't imagine someone saying you're doing this, you're doing that, because if you don't believe in something, you don't do it. It's fair to say.
Yeah, I don't think, if someone said to me like, you know, we could sign you, we can give you all the money in the world, but you know, we control everything, I couldn't take it. I couldn't release a song that I haven't written.
Yeah,
it wouldn't feel right. And I feel like it's better, not that I'm like an amazing songwriter, but just the way that I've constructed it, it's just better for me. I couldn't have someone say like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, within moderation obviously, but I just think I need to be able to have control in what I'm making. Otherwise it's not me, it's somebody else.
I mean, it's completely kind of different, but I remember when we went to like the zoo a few months ago, and like you didn't know about it, and you were like you didn't like the ability not having control of knowing where you were going. It was like this massive funny drama. So like that's why I can imagine if someone was to tell you you're going to be doing this is the shoot you're doing, I think you wouldn't. You know, you have to have that ability to be able to control the narrative.
I think it's important to have control in what you're making, because music's very personal, and I think if you don't have control in it, then it's a combination of like 10, 20 different people's input, and then it just gets lost. I think if it's just, obviously you can have other people's opinions, but you need to have that sole decision on how everything is going to come about, I think, because it's what you're telling, really. It's your art. And
do you enjoy it as well though? Because I mean, you can come across, I mean, some, you know, on social media posts as at times, you know, a very serious person.
Hmm.
Do you enjoy, like, what do you have fun with it as well? Because I mean, I've when we've hung up before, I'm always like, are you having fun? Are you just quite a serious person?
I'm very concerned about image sometimes. Like, I like to appear a certain way. I like to appear like my music has a persona, so I like to appear controlled and stuff. But when it comes to like creating music in the process, I'm very silly and playful, and I try different things. But as a package, I try to be very like neat and compact and just deliver like a neat package to everybody. I'm very 50-50 about how I appear and how I, come across, because sometimes like I could release a really serious track and then I'm like, do I want to act a certain way when I've just put that out? It's yeah, it's 50-50 with me. It's trying to like balance the two at the moment I'm trying to do.
But I mean, that sounds like, for me to hear that, like exhausting, because you're doing something you enjoy, yet you're so kind of concerned about, I should be maybe acting like this or I should be doing that. And it's almost like you're not getting to be yourself because you feel that you have to be a certain image or a certain way. So surely that at times can take away the joy in what you're doing because you're so focused on trying to be what you think you need to be.
No, for me, it's just like I like to get into the mindset of where I was when I wrote it, just to
Right.
really immerse myself in it, just because I need to feel it so everyone else can feel it. So, for example, my new song 722, it's about, it's the time I rang the ambulance for my mum, the day she died. So for that, like as a whole package and a song and a video, I like to put myself in that mindset and really just embody it while it's happening. I can be myself obviously, but when I'm delivering something to people, I want to be able to really just get into that mindset and make sure everyone else feels how I was feeling in that moment, just so they can
Yeah.
relate as much as they can. So it's not about not being silly, it's just about with music, I'm a bit too deep into it. I just like to really just immerse myself into it at the time. And then sometimes it comes across as like silly and playful. Sometimes it's like hella serious. But it's just how I like to do music. I like to really just get in that moment. That's why I can really just vibe with it and all that. It's a
I,
weird one.
Well, I mean, you released a track not long ago as well, "Text from My Ex," which was absolutely, it was completely different to what you've done
Mhm.
before. In a sense, it felt mainstreamed. It had like a pop vibe, which I love. That I'm all about that kind of
Mhm.
track. What was for you? Again, it was such a massive change of direction. What was the reason behind that? What made you think, do you know what, I'm gonna put something a bit more mainstream out there?
With this year, um I'm really just being impulsive. So normally I'd write about 10 tracks and then pick one of them because that one is the most serious and this one will do this. Now I'm just like really just as soon as I write something, if I'm feeling it, I'm just gonna put it out. I don't care who likes it, who doesn't. I'm just being very just I'm feeling it, I'm gonna write it. So I'm not trying to box myself in this year. So with each song I'm just trying to go like 20 different routes just because
Yeah.
I just want to, if I want to do a song like that, I'm going to do it. If I wanted to do like a rock song, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I'm going to go do that. And just exploring it, I'm finding it quite fun. That's the fun part for me, just dipping into things I don't normally do.
And when it comes to like the release date, because we've spoke about how much input you have in your tracks. So obviously
Mm-hmm.
you've worked, it's not just something where you record like last week and then suddenly it's out. I mean, months and months and months of work goes into this. So you've worked
Yeah.
for months recording to put this together, and then you've got the day it's released. Tell us what anxiety and what the feeling is, because you're literally, it's for me when I release an interview, it's not my work, it's the guests that people are interested in. But for you, it's all about you. It's your life experience. It's stuff you've gone through and you're putting it out there for the world. So tell us how it feels on the
Mhm.
day of a release.
Um, to be fair, I try not to think about it because obviously, because I'm unsigned, I can't be expecting like a massive like reception and do you know what I mean? I just see it as like that's the day I'm putting it out. I'm excited to see what people think, but I'm constantly thinking about the next thing I'm doing. I don't focus too much on that moment.
Yeah.
'Cause if I do, say if I'm expecting like, so many views and so many streams and I don't achieve that, I get really upset and I get really like down about it. Then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, I'm gonna give up. And then like if I think too much like that, I won't ever progress. So I create it for months, get it all out of my system, put it out, then I'm on to the next one already while that one's dropping. And if people like it, that's good. So I'll just keep it moving, really. If I think too much about it, I'll really get in my head about it.
But you know, you get an incredible reaction. You said, you know, for being
Mhm.
unsigned. I mean, you only have to look at your Instagram story. It takes like an episode of EastEnders just to click through the amount of shares and kind of reposts that you get. So, I mean, for someone that's
It's
unsigned,
great.
if you're getting that kind of reaction, that's you know putting you in a really good stead going forward.
No, honestly, like people that support me when it's normally people that I've not even met before as well. This the main thing is people that I've met through like Instagram and social media that they support me constantly. So for someone that's not even met me to support me that hardly, that means a lot to me. And then with each release, it gets more and more intense. So it's like it's motivation for me to keep going, obviously. And then you hear stories like from Text example, a lot of LGBT people messaged me about how like it was good for them to hear somebody doing a pop song from that perspective or from that genre that they could sing. So it's yeah, there's a lot of good ways in which it makes you feel good. But like numbers wise, I always look at it like, oh, that's not what I want. I want to be like at 1 million streams or something like that, and I'm not. So, but when people respond to me, that's what gives me the most
Yeah.
like the good feeling about it. At least even if it's one person, that one person's felt something from that whole package, and that makes me feel good when one person feels it. So if any more than that is a bonus.
Well, I mean, just 2 days ago, you know, you've released your latest track, which you mentioned a bit earlier about how personal that is. So tell us a little bit about kind of the track. You mentioned it was about the call you made to the ambulance for your mum. Now,
Yeah,
that's something so big to put out in a song. So you must have such a strong connection with this.
yeah. So I was, I made Butterfly obviously about when she died, and how that affected me and how I went through that. But I never really touched on it. I just kind of glazed over it, and it's been bugging me for a long time. Like I'm holding a lot on my chest about it. So I thought, right, I'm gonna write about it and what am I most upset about? And it was obviously the morning that it happened. We was meant to fly away on holiday, so and it just happened out of the blue. So that whole morning was just such a rush for me. I've never really processed it in my mind. So I thought, right, I'm gonna just like words come to me one night, and then all just kind of just like exploded onto a page. And then I read through it, and I was like, this is really deep because the lyrics are like, you know, pushing on your chest and doing CPR to it's very intense, but I didn't want to change it. So I just thought, you know what, that's what happened. It was that real. I was going to reflect how real it was. Normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would really like dilute it and make it as plain as possible. But I thought for the situation, I just thought I just need to just say it how it is, just to get some closure for me. And that's music is my closure with that. So obviously with the video, I'm like still in an ambulance. I'm talking about it, and I'm in like a little flower bed on a hill. So it's very like reflective and deep, but it's real. So I didn't think I wanted to. How do I say it? It's hard hitting, but I didn't want to take away from any of it in any way because that's
Yeah.
what happened. So I wanted to give a real reflection, and then obviously people that have gone through similar things can just relate to how they've lost their parent or loved one and how it just happens in a click. So it was just about making it as authentic as possible, really.
And now you've recorded it, it's out there for people to
Mhm.
listen to. Has that given you mentioned that closure, has it given you something, a feeling of kind of, do you know what, I can accept this now? Because you said it was something that was still playing on your chest. So has it helped
Yeah,
you in that respect?
I always felt guilty because I was the one doing the CPR that morning before the ambulance people came. So I always felt like it was my fault that I didn't do something right, or that, you know what I mean? You overthink every little step, or I didn't call them in time, or this and that. So for me, the song really just let me get it all out. Um, get it all out, just make me focus on it and overthink it. And then it just kind of made me just let it go. Not let it go, but just
Yeah,
accept what happened. And I think my mum would be like very proud that I made it into an art for people to
yeah.
just, you know, just appreciate rather than it be like a sad occasion. I tried to switch it around and make it like not the word is just just for me to find peace in myself about it rather than me just keep holding so much hate in myself about it. I just wanted to just pull it out, let it out, and then people just, you know me a little bit better, like why I am the way I am sometimes.
I think honestly, I think to put something like that out there is so brave. And I mean, one thing I want to say to people watching this is when we've hung out in the past, one thing I was always fascinated with is how much work you put into this. Like genuinely, you're always on your phone, whether it's emailing, and you do most of this yourself. Like you're always searching for something else. You're making sure your song's getting played on radio. You're always looking for the next thing. You literally never stop.
No.
You know, where does that drive come from then? Because you've gone through so much emotional hurt, yet you're one of the most driven people I know. So where does that actual kind of drive and instinct come from?
You know what it is? I think my life has never been like the most like secure or the most like, I've had the best family around me, but I've always felt like I'm not where I need to be. And music is the only thing that makes me happy. And everyone around me always says to me like, oh, like you're gonna make it, you're gonna be a star. No. But I'm the one that has to make that happen. And that's what I really want. So I feel like you need to put the work in and no one does it for you. And specifically like for me, I don't have any contacts, influence, any like that. I have to really just work from ground zero. But because I'm at that bottom and I want to keep pushing up, it just makes you just work 10 times harder.
Yeah.
I truly believe in my mind I will get to where I want to be. I want to be, you know, inspiring so many different people. I want to be like the artist that I've not seen from anyone. I want to be that person. So until I get there, just got to, you know, do your thing, keep pushing and all of that. But it's hard. It's really hard work. But I enjoy it. So it's not like, it's not a chore. I do enjoy it. As much as I moan and I hate it sometimes, like I do enjoy it. And when it's finished and put out there, the satisfaction you feel is just amazing. So it's 50-50. It's hard work, but then you enjoy it and that's the life you want. So what are you going to do? You're going to stop because it's hard? You're just going to keep going. That's the mindset.
Well, I mean, you're saying that you're showing people kind of all sides of you. I hope you show people the side of you where you do a thick impression of Deirdre Barlow from Corrie, because it's the funniest thing that you do.
No, I'm not doing a Deirdre. No. Absolutely not. No.
We spoke earlier about image and how important that is to you. And obviously, when you look at the genre of music that you do, you said before, it's kind of almost been a bad thing in a sense. You're kind of, I don't know what the word is, but you're kind of cast away. People don't want to work with you or play your music because they feel like, you know, you're in this industry and you're an openly gay rapper. And you've said it's caused kind of problems in the sense of moving forward with success. So was it ever a time where you kind of sat back and thought, do you know, maybe do I need to hide who I am to progress in that? Or were you always firm at, no, this is me, I'm talented at this, I'm going with this?
No, I've never always been like that. No, I still do it now to the point where you do have to like write a song in a certain pronoun. You can't say he from me because it might not get plays in some places, which is annoying. But I've learned to filter that out for now anyway. But when it comes to me as a rapper, no, I'm not. I don't feel like I pull back anymore. I used to quite a lot, but it's the way it is. Like rap is not very open to that at the moment. There's not a rapper that's really, you know, openly gay and like spitting like other people do. Like it's quite like a taboo subject. People just don't want to see it. So it's being strategic in, you know, not speaking openly about it, but then being open in yourself. So it's just kind of navigating your way through industries where they don't want to see you, but you just have to put yourself out there. It's a shame, but it's what it is right now. You just got to try and be clever with it and try and navigate your way through it to at the top, and you could be like, boom, in your face.
Well, I think patience is always key with this, and I think keep being yourself, because the stuff you're putting out there is just incredible. Like it's so meaningful, it's deep, and so obviously you've just released a single 2 days ago. What's the rest of the year looking like now? Because we're at a stage where hoping restrictions will start to lift. Because I know live performance is something you love as well. Like you just need to see some of your past posts, and you just seem to just come alive on stage, and you react to the feedback from the audience. So you must be eager to get back with live performances.
Yeah. So for me, live performances are very, obviously I can't do them, but that's what I really want to do this year. And I think even videos, I want to really expand my videos as much as I can. And obviously I can't right now because you've got to be very careful with filming videos at the moment. So I just think making everything 10 times bigger, I think for me, and I really miss performing. Like I want to be you know, when summer hits and everyone's at festivals, I want to be able to like be able to be booked and perform and just have fun. But hey, I'm very like a physical person. I want to see people's reactions when they hear my stuff rather than through Instagram comment. I want to see and feel
Yeah.
it. It's a different energy when you're in person and you're performing. It's so much different.
And what about plans for like an EP or an album? Because obviously you mentioned that you must have a backlog of tracks that you've written that maybe you're like, well, I'm going to keep that for another time. So can we expect kind of like an EP or an album this year?
No, for me, I really want to just do singles as much as I can until I'm at a level where I feel like I can do another album. Butterfly happened just because it was a collection of songs that all wanted to say the same thing. But for me, like I just want to do singles. I want to just be doing like whatever comes to me naturally. I want to do like a song here, a song there, a song there. Just let out my system and have fun with it. But an EP, no. I just want to do singles. If it happens, it happens. I'm not gonna say no. But yeah, very much singles for me at the moment. Let's have fun and freestyles and all of that. I like my freestyles.
Well, we've got the links to all your social media in the description here, so people can check you out because you posted a lot of stuff on your story that they can listen to.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on today and just getting to see a different side of you. I know some of the questions were quite deep and tough, but
no, it's fine. I do, you know, I try and be what's it, too perfect all the time. So it's nice to let loose every now and then.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to play the new single on the show as well now, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mate, legend.